Chaps, this is our brand new studio, again, of the new MANUP office. But I just wanted to introduce you to Mark, who we've known each other for at least 10 years.
Yeah,
And
must be.
else. Yeah,
must
we've been through a lot. But no, but you are a man who I respect quite a lot.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Most of the time. No, I do
Likewise.
respect, yeah, most of the time. But the thing is, what is, I know you do, obviously you're a church leader, elder, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know some church leaders don't like to be called elder or everything, but
on the leadership team.
That'll do, and that's a good one. But I know you do like the community cafe, you do the Hope Works.
Yeah.
You seem to do a lot of stuff in the community. Do you want to give us a breakdown of that quickly?
Sure. Well, obviously, as a church leader, we think it's important for the church to play its part in the community. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a biblical mandate. Apart from anything, you know, Jesus says, you know, look after the poor, and the poor in the broadest sense. And so, you know, it's part of our ministry, if you like, part of our responsibility as a church to do exactly that. So we have a number of services that we provide, projects that we run in that area. So we have a community cafe that you mentioned, open every Thursday. We get about 80 people in there every Thursday. We provide.
Is that 80?
80, yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
okay.
It has been 100, but it's actually dropped off a bit since Christmas for some reason, don't know why. So we provide a hot meal of a main course, as much tea and coffee and soft drink as you want, and a nice dessert for £3.50.
Right, okay.
And actually, to be honest with you, if you come in and say, look, I'm actually having a really hard time financially, then we'll give you a free meal.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, when I've been out on the streets, whatever else, and I've seen people, I have said to people, go in there on the Thursday and just say Dan Summers and put it on the. I don't know whether they ever do. I hope they do.
I think they have.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm like, put it on my tab, and I was just saying, hopefully that they'll never come chasing me.
I don't think I've ever sent you a tab.
Yeah, no, I'm not paying it. But I think that's the thing. I think you generally do a lot of good stuff, and obviously, I guess the audience are. Dare I say, the audience, in my opinion, if I'm wrong, I apologise and mean no offence, the audience seems to be people where society's kind of just forgotten and spat them out a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being harsh with my words. And I love people like that. I love people like that because I think you kind of know where you stand with them more than anybody else.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I think they have a kind of authenticity and an honest, which is honesty,
unique.
which is very something that you warm to.
Yeah.
But we have a variety of people. So in COVID, we started doing. We had a little cafe going before COVID started. When COVID came, we started delivering meals to people because obviously there was lockdown. We delivered 100, 120. You were part of that, weren't you?
I was one of your drivers.
Yeah, you're one of the drivers.
Yeah.
And so we have some people that we got to know through that. They're still coming. You know, people who are, you know, not the most well off in life.
Yeah.
You know. Who need company. They might be isolated, they might be a little bit hard up. But we've also got people from other nations. So we have people from Hong Kong, we have people from Ukraine who've come over under the various schemes. Yeah. And we have...
Are they mostly men or...?
Families.
Right, okay.
Actually, the Ukrainians are mainly women.
Understandably, yeah.
The people from Hong Kong are families, family people. And we also have a lot of... Eastern Europeans, and white British guys who, you know, are either homeless or struggling to maintain accommodation, normally with fairly serious health issues, including mental health challenges, of course, and people who find it hard to make progress from a position which is fairly difficult for them. You know, they aspire, obviously, for better accommodation. They aspire for work. Language for the Eastern Europeans becomes a huge barrier. So a lot of those guys we know for a long time. We have a health outreach service. You know, health outreach service on St Helens Street. Yeah, this is the service that's commissioned by the NHS to specifically help people who find it hard to access primary care. So
we used to have that on the soup kitchen every now and again.
Yeah,
they
maybe.
Used to come out.
Yeah. It was the same sort of deal. They come on a Thursday, a nurse comes, and that's a great opportunity to sort of point people to that service, because most of them do not. They either don't have a GP, or they have a GP who they've fallen out with, and they're reluctant to go.
Is that the men by any chance?
That's the men.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, almost exclusively. Not totally exclusively, but almost exclusively.
No, I understand that, but I think it's one of those things where once you start looking at the research and the data, people are like, oh, you should go to your doctor, and they have a fallout. And I see that all the time. But most of the time, I don't want to pass blame, but most of the time it's actually, they say men don't talk, but they'll go to the doctor with whatever issue, but we don't use the same terminology as maybe a woman does.
Yes.
I don't ever use the term. You've known me for years. Like I will say someone or something is doing my head in. I'm sure you've heard that many times over the years. Don't comment. But I'll never ever say like, "Oh, Mark, I'm depressed."
Yes. Yeah.
Something might be rattling in my brain. Yeah. But the thing is society's like, well, you should talk more. So I am talking. Yeah. I'm just not talking in the words that you may understand. Yeah. Am I making?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm still saying the same thing, just in a different way, and I think that's why a lot of probably men fall out with their doctors. Yeah. Because they feel like they're being ignored.
Yeah. Exactly. And
so I went off on one there.
Sorry. No, it's fine. Ignored, or given the advice that they've either been given 100 times before and it hasn't worked, or a sense of being palmed off. You've come to see me 10 times, and just carry on taking the drugs or whatever it is, or go to the chemist and get this stuff, and it doesn't work, and then they're reluctant to go back because they, I'm not getting anywhere here with their mindset. But the other thing is, of course, that very often what they present with is not really the issue at all. Yeah. There's
such a valid point.
Lots of other stuff going on, which would, the drivers of sort of, poor health are just as much to do with, your housing and your income and your social circumstances and deprivation, more so actually than the presenting medical conditions. So the GP is on the medical side, but they're actually way off the fundamental needs that someone might have. And whereas I think they're much better at signposting people to social prescribing and that sort of thing, to services which would help people with their confidence and things like social isolation, there's still a big disconnect there, really. And particularly for people for whom English isn't their first language, it just becomes a nightmare. But this is where health outreach are very helpful, because they've got translation services, and they're like a dog with a bone sometimes. Now, this guy isn't getting what he needs, so we're going to make sure he does. They are an excellent service, they really are. And so we have them present at the cafe, and we also have Anglia Care Trust present as well. So they're very helpful for people with certain sort of housing situations. So that's all part of the package on the Thursday, and it works well. Yeah. But we do see a lot of people who, despite all that, they're kind of trying to have a sort of slightly wraparound service there, still get stuck. And, progress is very difficult for some people for whatever reason. Yeah. And one of the things we're trying to do with some of the folks is to understand their story more. So rather than sort of feed them, send them to the nurse, we always want to build relationship. We've always wanted to do that. Yeah. And just to let people know that they are absolutely welcome to come in this space, exactly as they are.
Because some of them have been coming for years. I know you've already said that, haven't you?
Yeah.
So how long was COVID? That was 6 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. So COVID finished May 23, was it? May 22,
okay.
So, maybe 22, Yeah, May 22. Becoming all that time. And obviously, as I say, the environment's really important. And I comment on that, it's so, we love it here because you guys are welcoming, non-judgmental, genuinely wanting to be alongside me sort of people, you know what I mean? Friends, in as much as we can in that setting. So what we're trying to do, where people, for a number of people, is to understand their story. So we're saying, sitting down, not necessarily even at the cafe, but other times, and saying, and listen.
Because you do that in the church as well, isn't it?
Do that in the church as well. Yeah, the same sort of model, really.
So you welcome me and I'll kick them out.
That's how it goes. That's our different roles.
Yeah, no, exactly that. Yeah.
So yeah, that's powerful. You know, there's a guy we're talking to at the moment, and he's just been telling me a little bit about his history and past, and you can then understand where they're coming from in many respects, and what their sticking points are. You know, why they find it hard to move on from certain things.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's something that we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that kind of backs up what I do, and I feel like I'm just preaching the same thing over and over again, but research and data backs it up. Society's saying that men don't talk, men should talk more.
Yeah.
There are some stubborn sods out there.
Yeah.
I'm probably one of them. I get that. I'm not naive
might be
with that.
too.
Yeah, but no comment. But it's just, most men will talk. It's like that research. 2,500 biological suicides, male suicides.
Gosh.
They've done research. 91% of those men were talking within 3 months, asking for help. 3 months of their death, but they're still dead. So we can't continue with that. Men should talk. Well, they are. Yeah. But so it sounds like with you guys, we've like that. Ignore the church stuff. I know. Let's call it the community hub, because it is a community hub, and you do bloody well on that, especially with the men. What I've seen, and whatever else, is just you stop to listen to their men and understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Some of them, I've met some of them. Some of them, I'm not sure I'd quite have a beer. Probably wouldn't recommend it with some of them, but I wouldn't be having a beer with or whatever else.
We've got to have some boundaries.
No, exactly that. But I think it's the people who may not even be like a direct friend or whatever else, but I still want to take the time to learn a little bit about them.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the problem with society. I know I'm doing a sweeping statement, but it seems to be like, if a man doesn't want to talk, then just brush him off. It's his problem.
Yeah.
And actually, well, why not change your terminology and ask him ask him about himself?
We had another guy who's been coming a long time, and he always presenting in a pretty angry, negative way. And one of the team was up front with him and said, "Where's your anger come from?" You know.
Yeah.
And I think that's the first time he'd been asked that for a long time. And how do you deal with it? And he didn't go into much detail about where it came from, but he said, how I deal with it is I write poetry. And I thought that was so profound.
I know the guy, I won't say his name, I know the guy. It surprised me actually when he said that. Yeah, I know the guy you're on about. Yeah.
So you people present in a certain way, and that leads you to make some, not necessarily be judgmental, but make a judgment about them. Yeah. About what's driving them and what they're all about. And then you find something like that out, and you think, wow, there's so much more to this than meets the eye. You know? So that's the kind of what we're trying to do. Yeah. No,
I think it's a brilliant thing. Yeah. I know it's a very Ipswich thing. Well, it is Ipswich, isn't it? Yeah. I think it's absolutely brilliant. But I think with you as a leader, I know you got the volunteers, and obviously, just in a sweeping, if I can pigeonhole everything together. Especially with the men, we are men's mental health charity, as you know. Is there like a couple of things what you see time and time again? As in what the issues are? Obviously, don't say to it, I know you're good at safeguarding, but...
No. There's a common pattern, yes, I think there is, in terms of how people present. Yeah. But I think in terms of what's driving that...
what's going on maybe.
What's going on behind. I think there's some... You could, without overgeneralising, you could say there's some common stuff around, circumstantial stuff, housing, finance, those kind of, sort of basic needs that we all have. And if those aren't in place, there's always going to be instability. There's always going to be, poverty of, thinking, if you like. You know what I mean? And people... feeling stuck and feeling very, unable to do what they want to do and to make progress for whatever reason. So there's that stuff going on, but there's also, stuff about, and partly this would come from that background, that circumstantial stuff. How that affects their mental health and their emotional health, and that's what you might see. As the first thing you see, but then looking into it, you'll find all this other stuff underneath.
Do you think many of them are lonely?
Massively.
I know there's a couple who would never admit that, but you can just see it, can't you?
Massively. Yeah. Massively. Yeah. We were talking to one of the doctors who used to be on the integrated care board, the health commissioning, or the health sort of the health planning and commissioning side of the health service, and he was saying that, you know, a huge percentage of presenting problems in primary care is around isolation.
Yeah.
You know, isolated older people, isolated single people, people who've lost their confidence. You know,
this is actually both genders as well. I know men's a bit. The research shows I think men are a bit worse.
Maybe,
the numbers are higher.
Maybe.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But women are going up there as well.
Yeah.
Like loneliness is killing people.
Yeah,
literally killing people.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I can believe that, and it's this is where a sense of community, you know, is so incredibly helpful. And yeah, we're only doing a tiny bit as a church, but that whole, you know, agenda of let's have places to go, safe places to go, where people can build friendship and community and feel part of something beyond what they've been able to have before is just so valuable.
Do you think it's that the CAF thing is? Do you think it's given them some sort of purpose? Yeah,
well, I think in the sense of, you know, that is a community.
Yeah.
So I think in sense of, you know, that's why people keep coming back, you know, because there is a sense of community. I think it gives them a sense of purpose up to a point, but I think there's much more, you know, we could point them to or support them in terms of finding purpose outside of that setting through relationships, through doing stuff, through obviously, you know, finding work and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes back to what I've always said. It's like people, especially with men, obviously with men's mental health charities, I'm going to talk about that more, and plus I see it all the time, is when you're trying to engage with a man, don't focus on the problem, don't focus on him being an arsehole, focus on why is he being an arsehole. It's the same with like drinking, as you know, I used to do a lot of outreach in the soup kitchens, and obviously I've done stuff with Hope, the delivery driver stuff and whatever else, so you know me pretty well. It's just...
Absolutely.
I hate it when people go, "Oh, he's on drugs."
That's the defining.
Stop doing drugs. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. Or why not go to him? Why are you taking drugs? Because actually, if you listen to some of their stories,
absolutely,
they are traumatic. Absolutely traumatic. And I've taken flack for this before, where sometimes I think, no wonder you're getting off your face. If you're just, it's not right. I'm not recommending it at all. But
there's a reason.
Yeah, there's always a reason. It's very rare that somebody is an arsehole just for being an arsehole.
Yeah.
There is normally something underlining.
Yeah.
And I think if we all just spent 30 seconds, 2 minutes, it doesn't take any longer than that. You don't need to be their therapist. We've just asked different questions. Yeah, well,
I think that's really agree with that. I think that's something we've learned more about, and we're trying to do a little bit more of. And I think it's all we can already see that, you know, the quality of the relationship, having had those conversations, is much enhanced, and therefore you're able to make progress in terms of how, you know, supporting people to make progress for themselves in many ways around. You know, understanding what the background is, then that might help to think about, okay, what the answer to getting beyond where you are is.
Yeah. No, exactly that. So the trick question, obviously, it's not a trick question at all. I know you're extremely passionate about helping the men and the women and whatever else thing. I know you're genuine with that. But how do you keep your head straight of looking out after all the volunteers? And the main thing is, I guess there are some people what will trauma dump on you. I get it. I've maybe fallen foul for that myself, with like rah, 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 and everything's blurted out. How do you offload with? How do you not let that as a man tip you over the edge?
It's a good question.
You wasn't expecting that one, was you?
I think as a part of my personality is that I'm not too bad at compartmentalising. In the sense that stuff's there. And this, you know, home stuff and other stuff is here, and, you know, trying to keep a fairly clear, you know, boundary between those things. But
boundaries are everything, aren't they? They really are.
They are. Yeah, absolutely, they are. But having said that, you know, we're all people, and sometimes you can get, you know, you can get burdened, can't you? And you can sort of take on. You can kind of, you know, imbibe the sort of trauma of it all, because it's so, you know, it's so profound. So I obviously, I'm a Christian, so I've got that sense of community and support in that Christian context, which is massively valuable for me. I've got my family, and
Rachel is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course she is,
Yeah.
the best. But also the rest of my wider family as well. And then sometimes I'm just, quite good at just saying, "Oh, let's go and watch a film," or just do something completely different. So I try to keep that boundary pretty clear. But if it goes beyond that and gets to me, then I will want to process it and get it out of the system as soon as I can. But I'm compared to some people, I'm not too bad at that. I know some people absorb these things very profoundly, and
I've been there
for all the good for all good reasons.
Yeah.
Really, why wouldn't it affect you if you hear some of these sort of traumatic stories and desperate things going on in people's lives? And I understand that, but I think we all need to have a mechanism of. Otherwise, processing it, because otherwise it's just going to become, and I've seen it. I'm sure you have as well. In some people, it becomes overwhelming.
It does. I've been there. I've ended up at, for free therapy because of MANUP before. Because I hear about suicides on a near daily basis.
Absolutely.
It's just non-stop.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how thick-skinned anybody is if you don't find a way of offloading that or bouncing it off.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how tough you are or whatever else, or double R or whatever else. It will get you.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You've got to set up boundaries.
Watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some people it kind of creeps up on, I think.
Yeah. I see that a lot.
Yeah, and suddenly they responding to something or behaving in a way which just is so not them, and it's kind of thinking, where did that come from? And having to, I think, if you've got people you can process that with, fantastic. Because you can then get to the bottom. I've seen it. I'm sure you have as well.
Yeah, loads
of times. Absorb, and it kind of comes out because almost without realising you're taking on stuff more than you thought.
Yeah. Well, I think so, and I see that a lot of the time, especially with men. Yet again, where the amount of stories I've heard of, like, oh no, somebody's punched the door, or it's like, why did you kick off? Why did you break the door? I think I've punched the door before. Actually, I remember breaking my hand, but it was just, and it was like, why did you punch the door? So stupid. Enough. I can't remember. It was about something so stupid.
Yeah.
Everyone, like, if I went to a professional, I was like, why would you punch the door?
Yeah.
Over something so silly, but actually it was all of those other problems.
Exactly.
What just built up day one, day two, day three, all escalated, and this is
that's
why.
Something trivial brings it out.
Yeah, exactly that. But I think it also goes back to that whole thing what I was saying earlier on of, like, don't focus on what the problem is or what the issue is or what they've done. Focus on why they did it. Why are they drinking? Why are they a naggy bastard? So to speak. Do you get what I mean?
Absolutely, and those conversations are quite hard to have.
Yep.
And I think one of the strengths of
do you think they are?
Well,
maybe I've been in the game, so to speak.
Maybe I'm wrong. I suppose I'm just thinking that if you've spent some time listening, building a relationship.
Yeah.
It's perhaps easier to get to the heart of the matter than a fairly initial kind of conversation. Do you see what I mean? Does that make sense?
I think so.
I'm not saying it can't be done.
Yep.
But we put a lot of we put a lot of effort into building a relationship.
Yep.
And for that reason, so that we can understand people better and welcome them better and support them better.
Yeah.
But I take your point. It doesn't necessarily have to be a long process.
I've been saying this for a number of years. Is when people ask me, they're like, how do I get this man or whatever to talk about mental health? I'm like, well, don't talk about mental health.
Yeah.
Because me, I freak out. I run a men's mental health chat. I'm constantly living and breathing this. But if people talk to me about, oh, Dan, how's your mental health? I freak out.
Yeah.
But if they're like, oh, Dan, are you right? You seem a bit grumpy or whatever else. I respond to that terminology.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you
get what I mean?
It is how things are put, isn't it?
Yeah. And sometimes, and that's what frustrates me about with this whole world sometimes. Not everything is about poor mental health.
Yeah.
Not everything is a mental health issue. Sometimes life is just a bit crap.
Yes.
So if we can get people talking about at the stage when life's just a little bit crap, get rid of those problems first of all, and hopefully they won't escalate
I think, yeah.
into mental illness.
No, it's sort of,
Maybe I'm being naive.
No, I
but
totally agree. I think it's sort of early intervention.
Yep.
Whether you like that phrase or not. But
yeah. The quotes were excessive, but I'll let you have that. The quotes were excessive, but I'll let you have that
You
one.
let me have that one.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of approach, yes, absolutely. Getting to someone to be able to offer support to someone at a stage where, you know, before things have got really beyond what they can cope with.
Yeah. Talk about the problem, not the mental health.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just in mind, and I see that time and time again.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't know, women are very, very good at talking about that kind of stuff.
They're built a bit different.
Yeah, no, they are. Let's not go down that road. And whatever. But I do think there's something biological where men want to fix our problem. We want to fix our own problems.
Absolutely.
Women want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's biological. It has to be biological. It hasn't changed in centuries.
I have to say, I think that is the case. Yeah.
But
What I was really interested in you talking about just a while back was around men talking about their situation and then sometimes leading, you know, to a suicidal situation. And I'm really interested in that because part of what we would love to be better at, I think, is understanding and spotting where things are getting a little bit critical, and knowing how to deal with that. So that what you said there is very interesting.
Yep.
That people talking and then presumably not being heard, or at least not being heard in the right way.
Well, I think there is no one size fits all to can you spot a man who's basically going to kill himself? Because a lot of research, even the stuff with Susie Bennett, we funded, and other research.
Yes.
I can't say this in a nice way, but normally if a man's decided that he's going to do it, he probably will do it.
Okay.
And there's very rarely any telltale signs.
Okay.
But the one thing what every now and again you will see is they're trying to get their house in order.
Yeah.
Whatever else, because they don't want to leave behind a mess.
Okay, gosh,
that's something what I have seen with research. It's not all the time, so I've got to be very careful with how I word that. But normally, they're trying to get the house in order, trying to sort stuff out. And the stories I've seen of one man, he sent his family to Disneyland.
Yeah.
And he turned around at the I was going to say plane station, airport.
Yeah.
He said he forgot something and he'll meet them there the next day.
Gosh.
And he even scheduled an email to the police to say my family's coming back on this day.
Gosh.
And you could say, is that a man who's desperately ill with his mental health? Or has he made a decision that he's no longer got a purpose and is just in the way? And that's the thing with about a lot of male suicide that I've seen. It's very, very rare that it's a mental health issue or mental health problem. Okay. It's a lack of purpose.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say loneliness, but there's just he feels like he's done.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And I've seen that with bank managers, NHS workers, paramedics, police.
Yeah.
It's such a hard one.
Yeah.
But the one pattern I do see from now and again is getting their house in order.
Right.
Everything's all tickety-boo.
Yeah.
It's very, very rare that a man, from what I've seen, a man will tell you that is going to happen. Right. It's terrifying, isn't it?
So there's no sort of verbal signals?
Not really. There might be telltale signs. They might be acting a bit more sheepish, getting their house in order or anything like that, or just brushing, everything's fine, I'm feeling better now. Yeah. But other than that, there's not really a massive amount of telltale signs. Yeah, there's lists out there of they might shut themselves away, get more secluded and all this kind of stuff. There's not much There's not much from the stuff that I've seen that's actually the case at all.
So if someone gets a welfare visit from the police and a paramedic or whatever, there's a standard list of questions, aren't there, that they ask? I don't know how helpful that is, or how backed up with
there's a lot of data and research that shows that even if they get the, let's say it's section 36, is it section 36 where they can get section on and take to a place of safety?
Oh, yeah.
The amount of them every year, sadly, where they still kill themselves the same night or afterwards.
Right. Okay.
And this is the issue. People who are really struggling with their mental health are the best liars on the planet.
Yes. Yeah.
They will convince everybody that they're absolutely fine.
Sure.
And as long as they can say the tick list of everything's fine, tick, 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 tick. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
Let me give you a call back in 3 days. But trouble is, in 2 days they're dead.
Yeah. Gosh. Okay.
And that's the issue.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you. It's, I mean,
No.
you'll, you know, the more educated we get about these things, the better. But
Yeah.
if it's very hard to spot the indicators,
Yep.
that does make the whole agenda a lot more complex, doesn't it?
It does, but I think so. With me, and my attitude is not nip it in the bud. We're never going to stop suicide.
No.
I'd love to, but we can slow it down. But what we can do is change minds earlier, get rid of and educate, get rid of day one's problems before they escalate into day two problems. And if we can do that, we can at least slow it down quite a lot.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Cool.
agreed.